Imagine that time is not a line, but a stretched string that suddenly snapped, clashing together two of the greatest military machines of different eras. On one side stands a genius of strategy, the conqueror of Europe, whose name made monarchs tremble. On the other, 100 professionals, for whom war is not about courage and bright uniforms, but cold mathematics, silence, and technology bordering on magic. What happens when the god of war of the 19th century meets the ghosts of the 21st? By the beginning of the 19th century, Napoleon Bonaparte was at the zenith of his power. His empire was expanding, devouring the borders of nations. His will was law, and his grand army was the most perfect instrument of destruction in history. French regiments, hardened in dozens of battles, marched eastward, knowing no defeat. Napoleon dreamed of world domination, and another fertile valley, nestled between dense forests and a mountain range, was to be just another entry on his list of victories. This time, Napoleon's army numbered 20,000 elite soldiers. Blue uniforms, the gleam of bayonets, steady infantry squares, and formidable cavalry ready to crush any foe. The emperor's pride was his artillery, dozens of bronze cannons that he affectionately called his God of War. But as the army approached the borders of the valley, local residents, trembling with fear, began to tell the French officers strange legends. They spoke of forest demons, who were invisible by day, made no sound when they killed, and possessed a gaze that could pierce the darkness of night. Napoleon, hearing these reports, only laughed fiercely. "Demons? I have defeated emperors and kings. I will not retreat before the fairy tales of peasants," he exclaimed. The emperor ordered the banners unfurled and the advance to begin. He did not know that in the shadows of ancient oaks, camouflaged so perfectly that even the sharpest-eyed hunter could not spot them, 100 modern Special Forces soldiers were watching him. The battle began abruptly. The French columns had only just begun to enter the valley when soldiers in the front ranks started dropping one by one. There was no thunder of gunfire, no clouds of gunpowder smoke. Soldiers simply died with neat holes in their chests or heads. The Special Forces sniper rifles operated from a distance of 800 meters, turning the advance into a silent slaughter. Napoleon ordered his skirmishers to open fire, but the French smoothbore muskets were useless. Their bullets could not even travel 200 meters, falling helplessly into the grass. Seeing his best men dying from invisible arrows, Napoleon flew into a rage. He realized the enemy was hiding in the forest and ordered a massive frontal assault, hoping to overwhelm the opponent with sheer numbers. Simultaneously, he sent a second part of his troops on a deep flanking maneuver through the thickets to catch the demons by surprise. The engagement shifted into a phase of tactical confrontation. The Special Forces used hit-and-run tactics, shredding the French ranks with automatic weapons. But Napoleon was not considered a great tactician for nothing. Noticing movement in the woods, he deduced exactly where the defenders were grouped. "Bring me my god," he commanded. Dozens of cannons lined up and opened a massive barrage on the forest square. A rain of fire descended upon the Special Forces. Hundreds of cannonballs and explosive shells crushed trees and turned the earth into a morass. The soldiers from the future had not expected such a powerful and dense artillery attack. In this hell, about 40 Special Forces soldiers perished. The heavy artillery of the past proved fatally effective in the dense forest. The survivors were forced to make a tactical retreat, vanishing deep into the woodland. Night fell. In Napoleon's camp, they celebrated victory, believing the demons were either destroyed or had fled. Soldiers warmed themselves by campfires, and the cannons that had decided the day stood guarded in the center of the camp. But in the darkness, which the French considered their protection, the lenses of night vision devices came to life. The remaining 60 fighters returned like punishing shadows. The suppressors on their rifles turned gunfire into a quiet whisper of death. First, drones took to the sky, small humming devices high above that Napoleon's soldiers mistook for nocturnal insects. The drones carried powerful explosives. A series of surgical strikes rocked the camp as gunpowder crates next to the cannons erupted. Napoleon's god of war was destroyed in minutes, turned into twisted heaps of copper. Then the raid began. The special forces stormed the camp using thermal imagers and flashbangs. Bursts of light blinded the French, who were accustomed only to the dim light of candles, while automatic fire mowed down entire squads in seconds. That night, panic defeated discipline. By dawn, nearly half of the 20,000-man army was either destroyed or scattered through the woods. The finale took place in the emperor's tent. Napoleon, standing with a saber in his hand, saw men in strange spotted armor emerge from the shadows. Red dots from laser sights danced across his chest. He realized his time was up. The great commander was captured. They did not kill him. The Special Forces commander, looking into the eyes of the man who had changed history, set only one condition. Leave. Take the remnants of your men and forget the road to these lands. We are sentinels you cannot defeat. Shaken and broken by a technical superiority he could not even begin to comprehend, Napoleon signed the order to retreat. In the morning, the remnants of the Grand Army left the valley, forever carrying the memory of the terror of the demons who had forced the emperor himself to admit defeat. Who do you think would win? Let me know in the comments. Also, what battle would you like to see next?